Now we have my partner in crime, Patrick McQuoid, who is up there in Leitrim in Drumshambo. And Patrick, I let him introduce himself and his work himself, and he's going to read some poetry. Also later in the program, on the night, Patrick will be doing a new performance that he's been working on lately. So first of all,
can you hear me?
Patrick, can you hear me? You can?
Can you hear me, Noel? Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you, Patrick.
Okay.
In your own time, please read your poems.
Yeah. Just before I start, I won't be doing the performance later because of lack of space. So I'll just do the poetry reading now, and then if you want, I can read later as well. Can you hear me okay, everyone? Yeah. I'm going to start with a poem that you already heard before, and I'll end up with another poem that you've heard before. But the ones in between are all quite old. But I'll start with this one, and it's entitled, "It's Not Enough." It is not enough to pick the flowers only children see. One must take them to throw them into the ocean for the tide to turn. It is not enough to change colors, for them to melt into one, as a dream to live amid 1,000 screams. It is not enough to read a poem to a stone. One must bring it to the ears of the old and to the ears of the young, to remain within as a prayer unanswered. Thank you. Next piece is one, it's dated November the 1st, 1993. So it was about autumn. And most of my poems are very short, so I'll start with this old one from 93. The leaves do not fall gently. They thump, dried and shriveled to the ground. For those who can see beauty, it matters not that they are constrained from within to conform to skeleton. This autumn will end as it fades into winter and then spill into spring. Buds from nature grow with optimism, taking our love to fill the sails of our mind. This is entitled, "You Are." You are the first droplet of rain, reminding me to take shelter, the moment between awake and asleep. You are that little visible ring around the dark side of the moon. You are the quiet of the night. You are the keeper of the secrets of my soul. You are the first bird chirping at daybreak. You are the perfect skipping stone with a lucky white stripe around it. You are the blossoms about to open in the soft morning light. You are always holding my hand. You are as you are. Thank you. This is a lost day. And it's basically about some days you achieve a lot of things and some days you don't. So this is my lost day. The sky sat on the treetops. I forgot to light the fire. A DJ is playing music from the time when I was young. My bicycle is not working. I have 3 poems locked away in my thoughts. They must stay there as my typewriter feels very unwell. Today is Friday. It is still raining. I was thinking of an artist friend, hoping he was thinking of me. The postman never arrived. It's still raining. My phone is silent. Strange how a lost day can fill up for what was once a blank page. Thank you. I have no title to this one. Alone I sit, the world, and drink rose dew just with you. Pick jewels of heaven, write songs for you, make love with you. All apart to be the poet's poet with you, from the sympathy, from the mystery, my heart. I wait in the sanctuary we promised to the other, where shifting sands of time cannot change. Thank you. This piece is for Brett. Brett was married to Harry, and they were both old artist friends. And I knew them when I lived in Cornwall in the late 60s, early 70s. And they moved back to Liverpool, and sadly, Brett passed away. And they were wonderful friends. I still miss them. And this was for Brett that I sent to Harry at the time when she passed away. It's for Brett. By the unweaving hand of fate, you have traveled beyond the edge of tomorrow. I remember you as no words are needed, silent thoughts to give me a smile. I feel but cannot see, it being a gift unknown to you, makes me doubt the need for epitaphs of stone. Cornish summers smiles too, you both being part of the other. Every season's blossom remind us all of the sad paradox of the living in the midst of dying. Over time, still flowers beyond the edge of tomorrow and time itself, it being more than a token of the forever presence of you. Thank you. It's entitled 3 Poem. I used to go into a field, and for some reason I called it the tree field. But anyway, this is a poem that I happened to read when I was in the tree field. So it's entitled Tree Poem, but it's a strange title. But anyway. We get tired of being invisible and paint the days. We dance signals over our longings. Maybe your faith returned when my limpid gaze grew warm. Drunk with blissfulness, I plant a garden for love to grow. Still, my clumsiness of steps new make me forget of your procedures laid down. It is said that times like this are facets, maybe of where obstacles impede, where we both wait for the same sequence. Very short poems. This was for poem for National Poetry Month, USA, April 1999. It's another poem about poems, so it's quite easy for Poetry Month. The poems I write are friends, even when I try too hard and crack them open in my thoughts, they speak again and again. The poems I write are for you. They come as gifts to be shared. They are statues made of words. They leap as myths into the air. The poems I write don't disappear. Some are taken away. Some are returned to my being to become moons around my soul. Another little short one. And from Drumshanbo, I went into Carrick and Shannon, and to avoid the rain again, I walked into a pub. It's entitled Leitrim Man. The Carrick street stays wet as he enters, to hear the barman tell him to behave himself and to conduct his affairs. He reached for his pint as an instinct left only for himself to define. Lines mapped his face to show a twist of pity as he talked of the alleys of London Soho with memory and remorse. On leaving, he left silence, and the silence was full of knots of experience falling all around me to untie. I'll read the last, thanks. This is the last poem, and it's one I like finishing with every time I read. It's entitled For the Sake of. For the sake of those lost children waiting to be found, those walkers with nowhere to go, those finding love for the first time. For the sake of those who knew but did not say, those girls who never looked back, those with rubber smiles. For the sake of those white people living in the dark, those pretending indifference, those weepers of sad tears. For the sake of those born-again rock stars, those poets without words, those who always know the wrong time for the right thing. For the sake of those like you, so near, yet so far away, I'm going to kiss you all. Thank you.
Yeah, am I all right here?
Yeah, you're on mute.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Patrick, for reading those poems. And